backpacks instead of court documents.
I was a single mom, and I can remember at the beginning of school years, that's one more financial hit. We want to relieve that stress for parents.
Because Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis says her back-to-school event is about the kids.
It helps tremendously because everything is priced high, and anything I can do to save, I want to save.
Here at Morgan Falls Overlook was Willis's last stop after making her way through 4 cities in Fulton County, giving out free school supplies. She's all smiles now, but back to business after this. While the kids prepare for school, Willis is preparing for a potential indictment of former President Donald Trump and his allies for attempting to overturn the 2020 election.
Some people may not be happy with the decisions that I was making, and sometimes when people are unhappy, they act in a way that could create harm.
She didn't give many details, but Willis says another way she's preparing is by upping security. She says she wrote a letter to the Fulton County Sheriff.
I think that the sheriff is doing something smart and making sure that the courthouse stays safe.
And everyone in it.
I'm not willing to put any of the employees or the constituents that come to the courthouse in harm's way.
Willis says she's holding to her commitment to giving the American people an answer by September 1st. This could be Trump's 3rd indictment case of the year, so students have what they need to do their homework, and Willis says she's doing hers too.
The work is accomplished. I mean, we've been working for 2.5 years. We're ready to go.
Michael Popok of Legal AF, you heard it right there. Fani Willis at several back-to-school events that her office sponsors to give low-cost supplies to people in need. She had an interview on the spot with a local reporter, and there she was, all aglow with her announcement that she is going to be indicting Donald Trump and others no later than the end of August. You can look at the calendar right now. You know we're at the beginning of August. She said, as you heard her there, the work is done. She's been doing it for over 2 years. She owes it to the people of the United States and to Fulton County. And she's also concerned, continues to be concerned, about people who are unhappy, in her view, with the work that she's about to do, who could cause violence and mischief in Fulton County. But she believes that the Sheriff Labatt in Fulton County, Georgia, is ready. I love this clip for many, many reasons. One, you've got Fani Willis, just like Jack Smith, going to Subway, grabbing a sandwich. She's doing what she loves on her timetable, on her calendar, and she said it's her happiest moment before an indictment is the back-to-school season, in July and August in Florida. She says she's a single mother, she struggled financially, and she wants to help her local community. And while she's at it, she's happy to take questions from a local reporter who caught up with her in a park in Sandy Springs, Georgia, to tell the world that she is ready, the work is done. I'll explain that in a minute. And she owes it to the people of America and Fulton County on election interference to go after the bad guys. And that's what she got elected to do, and that's what she's going to do. But she's got other things she's going to do too, including helping and contributing to her community, as you can see in that almost heartwarming clip of her going about her daily life as she's about to do probably, arguably, the most momentous thing in her prosecutorial history is indicting the former president, Donald Trump. Now, let's just line up some of these facts. We know that the grand jury has been meeting. This will be the 3rd week of her grand jury, the regular grand jury, the indicting grand jury. That's the one where she will eventually, and it sounds like she's ready, to ask them to return the indictment. It sounds like all or most of the evidence has already been presented to the grand jury, and we're just at the moment where the prosecutor asks for the grand jury to return the indictment against Donald Trump and others. How could she be doing it so quickly after only 2 weeks or so? Well, it stands on the shoulder of all the other work that she's done and her office has done, starting in the early 2021 when she opened the investigation, followed by her obtaining the approval for the special purpose grand jury to be convened, which then assisted her in fact gathering in her investigation, as a special purpose grand jury can do, in vetting through evidence, in vetting through witnesses, in taking testimony, not to indict, but to assist the prosecutor's office and ultimately the supervising judge, in this case at the time Chief Judge McBurney, in making the ultimate decision this prosecutor had. She didn't need to take that step, but she decided that the people involved, the unprecedented nature of the allegations against the former president, She wanted to go the extra step and do a special purpose grand jury first, and then once she heard that evidence and how it panned out there and how the witnesses played out there, then make the decision on a regular grand jury. She's now third week of a regular grand jury. We've all heard the famous line, try it free for 30 days. Yeah, well, that's just enough time to try it and then completely forget about it. In fact, over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. You could be wasting money and not even realizing it. Rocket Money helps you find those forgotten subscriptions so you can stop paying for the ones you don't use. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is closer to $200. If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, and chances are you're one of them. Like that Stars app just to watch one show, or that free gaming trial you never actually use. Rocket Money will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you, and for any you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel. And Rocket Money will cancel it for you. It's that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/legalaf. That's rocketmoney.com/legalaf. This is the only entity that can indict in Georgia. And she said in that interview, you just heard her, in between smiles and backpack handing out and school supplies, cool, calm, and collected, what I refer to now as Fani full steam ahead Willis. She said the work is done. And she's also said in prior interviews, she doesn't go to a grand jury unless she's going to walk out with an indictment. She doesn't walk out with an empty blank, to paraphrase what she said. And so we know that she's using her very strong Georgia Criminal Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organization Act set of laws. RICO, racketeering, organized crime oriented. It's the most powerful set of racketeering laws in the country, more powerful than the federal version. She's going to use that in order to come up with what we call a speaking indictment, laying out the conspiracy, all the moving parts of the conspiracy in every region of Georgia and beyond, from the use of the fake electors to the pressure on the election officials and elected officials, the lawsuits that were filed, the phone calls that were made by Donald Trump and his henchmen and co-conspirators, Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, and others, to high-ranking election officials, Secretary of State, to try to throw out votes, to disenfranchise people, right? To inject fraud and interference into the election, using even a sitting senator in Lindsey Graham from South Carolina to make phone calls like that. And then the lawsuits, and then the phony hearings that were conducted that look like hearings if you were from outer space of the state house legislature, but were in reality just Rudy Giuliani at some days-in conference room with a couple of MAGA right-wing GOP people. And Fani Willis, just like Jack Smith, has gotten people to cooperate with her. She's got at least 8 fake elector cooperating witnesses in her back pocket. She's got 75 witnesses who she compelled to testify in front of the grand jury. She's got, a dozen terabytes, 24 terabytes of information and exhibits that she's going to present to the grand jury. And she can do that, of course, as she's been doing it with the grand jury, a mix of live witnesses and those that already testified with transcripts that can be read to the grand jury. And we sort of had a little bit of a window into how powerful the original evidence was to the special purpose grand jury, because remember, or I'll tell you now, that jury foreperson, she got her 15 minutes of fame. She went on every news show to say the following: no one's going to be surprised by the indictment recommendation of the special purpose grand jury. And I can extend that to the grand jury itself. Nobody's going to be surprised by the names that come out along with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to be first among. It's going to be people of the state of Georgia, Fulton County, versus Donald Trump. The question is, how many others are going to be named? Is Rudy Giuliani going to be named? Is Mark Meadows going to be named? Just because they're cooperating in some way, shape, or form with the federal government and Jack Smith doesn't mean they have immunity from the state side, right? And so, are they going to be named? Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, are they going to be named? Lindsey Graham, right? The head of the GOP, the Republican Party in Georgia, David Schaefer, who's not cooperating, even though he was a fake elector. Is he going to be indicted? And how many others? The chairman of the Republican Party in Coffee County, who let in the cyber ninjas and other people to go download all the voter data and try to use it, against Joe Biden when there was no fraud. Those people, this is either going to be one of these sprawling indictments that goes on dozens and dozens of people and hundreds of counts, or discretion being the better part of valor. You're going to see Fani Willis narrowing it down, at least for the first indictment, to a narrow set of things she can prove quickly and try to get this thing to trial as quickly as possible. We'll follow it, everything in Fulton County related to Fani Willis, the supervising judge, McBurney, and others. Only in one place, the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. You knew that. You're watching me here. Subscribe, free subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. You can find my content right there. Slide over to playlists. Look for Michael Popok. It's not hard to find. There's about 200 of my hot takes over the last 6 months. You have my entire catalog and library right up to the minute, all listed there. Follow me on social media at MS Popok. See me on the next hot take. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.